And we are live. Welcome to the Sports Sesh podcast. I'm your host, Mason Shatwell, and today joining me is UFC athlete Mason Jones. How are you doing?
Mate, that sounds so good. I think that sounds better than the champ thing sounded.
That was going to be my first question. How does it feel to be now a UFC athlete?
Oh, awesome. Obviously, it's been a milestone of mine for a long time. Well, since I started the sport, UFC was always my target, the way I wanted to be. And now I'm in that selected pool of people. It's less than 1% of people on the planet who actually fights the UFC. So, it feels unbelievably good. I just keep ticking along. I've done 3 sessions and I seen a physio masseuse thing today. So it's been a busy day today. So I'm not quite in camp at the moment. I'm in a weird place where I'm still dieting. I'm still dieting as much as possible and still getting my work in. But I'm not sort of killing myself, and I haven't got a date in mind at the moment. We're just sorting my work's visa. As soon as my visa's done, then we'll get matched for a fight, and I can really start ticking over towards it.
Well, before I go on about you, I'll just ask a quick question about the weekend's UFC just gone. Obviously, McKenna, she's a Welsh newly UFC star. Do you think you and Corey and like the other guys like Jack Shaw and that are going to be the next wave of Welsh stars to make a mark in the UFC?
Oh, 100%. Obviously, Jack's on a tear. McKenna's just literally destroyed their prospect. When I seen that matchup, they were generally just putting her in there for an easy win for the other girl. They liked what they saw in her, and obviously Corey smashed her. So we're just going to show the world exactly what we can do. And like my next fight is going to be a thing of beauty. You just wait and watch. I'm really going to show the world exactly what I can do, and I'm really going to show people that I'm on that level. Because there's always going to be people who say you shouldn't have been there or you can't make it, and it's just music to me. That's all it is. It'll just make me move faster.
Well, I'll go back to your last fight. Obviously, it was where you won the Cage Warriors welterweight title. As everyone knows, you're predominantly a lightweight. What made you want to go to the welterweight to become? Well, was it just to become the champ?
Adam Proctor, to be honest. I said this. I took that fight as a lightweight. I did the same weight cut as I do as lightweight. I went into that fight at about 80.4. I struggled to get over 80 kilos. So I put like 3 kilos on after weighing. It was nothing. Do you mean that was just me full of food. It's the same. I normally got bigger than that from lightweight. So he was probably going in there at about 88, 90 kilos, I think. So he had about 8 to 10 kilos on me, stone and a half. So he was a bigger guy, but I knew when that fight came about. So I knew when Reece McGee got signed, because Reece was meant to be fighting Adam Proctor for the welterweight title. I asked for that fight. I asked to fight Adam Proctor because I knew I would beat Adam Proctor, and I think I showed it in style. Like I expected a second round finish. I put him away in one round.
Well, obviously, I'm sure there's only been yourself, Conor McGregor, and Dan Hardy that have achieved the Cage Warriors champ status. How did it feel to be amongst the names of Conor and Dan?
Not so much like amongst the names like that, but the whole when I won the lightweight title, same as getting to UFC, it was inevitable for me. So obviously it was still a big buzz because obviously I'd done what I wanted to do. But it was something I always knew I was going to do. Like I've always known I was going to win that belt, and I've always known I was going to get UFC. Like that's something you have to ingrain in yourself. It's always been on my bone, and I always knew in around about a time frame when I would be doing it. To be fair, I'm a tiny bit ahead of schedule, so everything's going well. So when I won that welterweight belt, obviously none of that had been planned. None of that was on my vision boards. None of that was sort of pre-prepared. So it was a completely different feeling. Like I was really overwhelmed with it, and I really, really got excited. I don't know if you could tell with my post-fight speech and me strutting around the cage like I was a 2-weight champion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, as you said, you asked for the fight against Adam. What made you so obviously, you're going to be confident in your abilities no matter what. What made you think that you're 100% going to win the fight against Adam?
Stylez. So he was a grappler. I call him a pressure fighter. They're people who they press you through the fight. They keep a constant stream of pressure, and they look just to beat you on points. And like that's no disrespect to Adam, because Adam was 12-1 on a 7-fight win streak. His last fight was to one of my training partners in Aaron Khalid. And that was a close fight, do you know what I mean? He put a lot of pressure on Aaron. Aaron turned the fight around and managed to finish him, which is what Aaron does really well. I looked at his style. I knew I was better standing up with him. I was leagues better. I was in a completely different league when it comes to striking. To be fair, I don't think I showed him my fight enough because I was just walking through a lot of he threw at me. I knew there was no risk of him really doing much to me. The 3 times he actually caught me flush, twice was with a nice jab. Which was fair. It was like a long extension I walked onto, and the other time was I threw the back kick and pulled up a little bit short, the reverse side. So sorry, as my girlfriend would correct me, and pulled up a bit short, and he caught me with a looping left, and it didn't hit hard, but it hit me off my balance a little bit. But I'm leagues and leagues better than now. I think the best sort of example would be the Desme fight. I went in that fight and I was clinical. That's what I can do. When the pressure is there and when I need to be and when I'm forced to be, I'm a completely different fighter. I excel against high level opposition. I excel against champions. So you just wait and see what I'm like in the UFC.
With you usually fighting at lightweight, do you think you'll in the UFC you'd make a return to welterweight at any point, or do you think that was just to become the champ status and fight Adam?
To be fair, I don't think I finished filling out yet. The last couple of years, I've been gradually getting thicker. I'm not getting taller. I'm 5'10". I'm on that weird cusp of 5'10", where I haven't really. I stopped growing when I was about 24, 23, 24. I was late growing anyway. And then I've just been filling out. So I think by the time I get to 30, because I'm 25, I'm just going to keep getting thicker. So I'm stronger every time. I'm improving all the time. So maybe in a few years when I start getting to the 30s where my metabolism slows down, I start getting chunky and experienced, then yeah, I will go back. I think I'm a little bit short for that weight, but there's ways around that, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to show that I hit hard enough to knock out welterweights.
Well, during the last fight week, obviously, where it is for another title fight, how did you feel going into fight week? Did you have any nerves at all, or was it straightforward like usual?
So this question, everyone who gets asked this question always says, no, I was nervous. But I genuinely loved it. The only thing that was a bit poor, not poor, poor's the wrong word, it was a bit irritating, was we sat in the hotel and obviously we had to keep bumping into him. And then I have this thing where I have no interest in being friends with people I'm about to fight before we fight. It's just part of the game for me, do you know what I mean? So I have no interest in talking to you. I have no interest in catching eyes, no interest in anything. Not because I'm scared or I'm worried or I'm nervous. I just don't want to look at you. That's the thing. I've already looked at your face thousands of times. I've already seen it. I've already knocked you out and all many times in my head. So I just want to go in and get the job done. So bumping into the hotel room all the time was a bit irritating. But again, it's just all part of it. Do you know what I mean? It's something we'll get used to, and it's just all part of the fun. But I don't get nervous. Before the fight, we left the venue. I was sleeping. I was trying to nap. I napped on the bus, and then we got there. I wrapped myself in a duvet and went to sleep for an hour and a half. So I just fell asleep. They woke me up an hour and a half before I had to fight, and I got up and started warming up. That's just the way I do it. Do you know what I mean? So stay calm, stay quiet, and then let the fun begins. I love fighting. I'll never say that enough. I love fighting.
Yeah.
I love to fight and I love to let loose. And it's the greatest buzz of anything I've ever experienced. And I'm good at what I do.
Well, it was after your fight with Adam. I can't remember how long after. I think it was a photo shoot or something. You, Graham, and obviously some of the other guys were there. And Graham told you obviously that he signed you to the UFC.
2 weeks.
What was
2
the
weeks?
first...
So I fought on September the 26th, I believe it was, 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And October the 9th, I got signed. It's a date I think it's going to stick with me for a little bit. So October the 9th, I got signed. To be honest, he really surprised me with it because all he'd been telling me is how he'd been having problems and he's trying to speak to him. And I had offers from 3 different organizations. So we knew there was interest, but it was just look, with all the COVID stuff, they're not really taking on new British fighters because they got so many of a roster and all these work visa stuff and and then after the fight, literally after the fight, the day later, he invited me down for that photo shoot. So I already he'd already asked me about the photo shoot before I'd even mentioned UFC, and obviously he knew where we was going. But it hadn't really been mentioned. So I turn up and I taken the belts, and we was doing this photo shoot, and he was like, "Oh, obviously you've seen the video." He said, like, "Where are your belts?" And I said, "Oh, over there." He said, "Oh, do you mind leaving them?" And I was like, "What for?" And then obviously he told me, and it was just an overwhelming feeling, and it was just sort of, it was a relief more than anything, because like that stage of my career is over, because I'd done everything I wanted to in Cage Warriors. Like defending one of my belts, it wouldn't have been the same. Do you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have highlighted my rise enough, because it, like, I'd gone all the way up, and then sort of defending would have just plateaued. That's what it would have. That's what it felt like. So getting signed is just, it was a perfect time, and I can't explain how well my career has gone up to this point. So I'm just ready to explode onto the scene and ready to really show what I can do. And I'm just going to start blasting through people. And I understand how tough the lightweight division is. I understand, in my experience and in my perception, in my view, the lightweight division is the toughest division in the UFC. Easy as that. And like, I'm not going to turn around and be like, look, I deserve to be in the top 10. Like, I don't deserve shit. At the end of the day, I'm 0-0 going into UFC. There's no, you haven't done anything previously. You're going in there as a 0-0 fighter, and I'm just going to go in there and do exactly what I did in Cage Warriors, which is start smashing people up and work my way through. And for every single person who turns around and says, look, you're not good enough, or you don't deserve to be there, I'm just going to smile, and I'm just going to prove them wrong.
100%. Obviously, with Graham signing you to the UFC, how does it feel to have someone like Graham on your team as well to obviously help you with this stuff?
Awesome. To be fair, like you hear things as you come through, but I wouldn't have signed with Graham if I didn't believe in what he could do, and the things he's done for me, and the way we get on well. We both understand it's a business relationship, but we do have a personal relationship as well, and I like the man. It's just the way it is. So we get on well, and he's done a lot for me so far, and I can't wait to see what he does for me in the future.
Well, you're an undefeated fighter. Do you think going into the UFC with the undefeated name above you, do you think that's going to help you at all, or do you think that'll be more added pressure going into your first UFC bout?
I don't, like I said, I don't really see either way. It's like, all I see it is in UFC, I've got a 0-0 next to my name. All that matters now, like when they talk about Khabib, they talk about his 28-8-0, but the biggest argument that John Jones and him had was John Jones had 15 fights to his 12 in UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was something like that. So that's all that matters. I'm 0-0. So I'm undefeated because I've got zeros next to my name, but there's no wins, there's no losses. So I'm just going to start stacking up those wins.
Do you think how long do you think into 2021 that we're going to see you in the UFC octagon?
That all depends on my visa. So I'm sorting my visa application out. I've got a really good team sorting it for me. Obviously, UFC are awesome at acquiring them anyway, but there is a little problem with all the COVID going on. So keep an eye on my Instagram. As soon as you see me going up to London, you'll know things are happening, things are going on. So as soon as that gets sorted, we can get done. But I'm targeting, there's a very good card at the end of January. With another champ running the card that I'd love to be on. So if we can make that happen, that's what I've asked for. But if they said you're fighting in a week, then the show goes on. Easy as that. I get ready and I'll bang someone out on a week's notice, no problem.
What do you think, for people that aren't too familiar with you, what do you think is the biggest tool in your arsenal?
I'm adaptable. It doesn't matter what people bring out. It doesn't matter whether you catch me cold and do something I don't expect you to do. I'll beat you. Easy as that. I'm good at beating people. That's what I excel at. Well,
obviously going into your first UFC bout, when hopefully everything's back to normal, what on a fight camp, what would be your weekly routine?
Oh, so so I train between 3 and 4 times a day. I do 3 days of cardio, 3 days of S&C. 5 mornings of striking, 2 sessions of MMA sparring, 1 session of boxing sparring, and then it's all my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu sessions that supplement around it, making my wrestling specific, and literally just making sure I'm training with good people that are really going to help push me. And I've got a good crew around me. I've got a good array of coaches, and everything works well for me. So do you know what I mean? I'm living the dream.
Well, obviously, training MMA, you're going to have to train all factors. What would you say is the most important martial arts that goes into them all?
That's a good question. But I think that's fight specific. So if I'm fighting a guy that I need to submit or take down submit, then my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu class is going to be the best. If I'm fighting a guy that is very good Thai style, then my Thai is going to be important, but then also my wrestling is going to be important as well. If I'm fighting a guy who I'm going to stand up and trade with, then my boxing needs to be on point. My jiu-jitsu's got to be on point, but then also my wrestling's going to be on point. Because if I want to stand up with him, it's usually because he's going to try and take me down. So it all depends. MMA is a beautiful thing because it's such a mixed genre. Like, do you know what I mean? It's in the name, but like you've got to be good everywhere, and that's what I love about this sport. Do you know what I mean? I love it. The fact that you can fight and beat better people just by being better than them in one area, and you can beat people by being better than them in all areas. It's just all about being mentally prepared and being mentally smarter than the other person.
Would you say the mental aspect's more important than the physical?
Yeah, definitely. Just because I've seen people who are completely out of shape, people who aren't that technically sort of gifted, beat people who are technically gifted just because they're better fighters. That's all that matters. Fighting is fighting. Like it's same as football. You can have the most technical person in training who can do everything. If they can't bring it to the game, you're useless.
Should you win your eventual debut in 2021?
When?
That's right. When you win your debut, what would be the rest of your plans for the rest of the year for 2021?
To fight 2020. So 2020 was the year of the dragon, as we called it, because you know what I mean, I did everything I wanted to. 2021 is, do you know what I mean, that's just going to be the year I really I set my roots. So that's going to be the route. That's really going to be me cementing my platform in UFC. So that means I'm going to be fighting as often as I'm physically able. So it means that making smart decisions, making smart fights. I'm being prepared. So if I can get 3 fights out, then that would be perfect. 3 to 5. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do a cowboy thing and try and get 5 fights in here. But there's no point doing stupid fights. Do you know what I mean? You go in there underprepared or you underestimate someone and you get knocked out.
Have you spoken to Dana White or any of the other guys behind the scenes at UFC about any fights yet?
Not yet, no. So that'll go through my manager. So I'll need to go there, put on a hell of a performance, I think, to get a seat with the big man. And then I can start to impress him with my inner charisma. To be fair, I think I'll just introduce him to my girlfriend because she's more charismatic than me. So she'll be able to talk me into these sponsorship deals and stuff. But yeah, it won't be long. Do you know what I mean? I've just got to go out there and do what I do best and then just wind him up. Do you know what I mean? See if I can get him in and tell him what I'm going to do and just prove it.
Do you think being a champion in another promotion like Cage Warriors is going to benefit you going into the UFC?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially in Cage Warriors because they give me the sort of run I needed. It's not something none of the fights I had were fights I asked for, but I beat very, very good boys and the top talent in Europe. And if you look at the boys I fought, I never. I think it was my last. I can't remember the stat now because it was a while back. My last 6 fights. If you look at the win, loss, and draw ratio, it was something ridiculous. We was something like 69-11 or something stupid like on the wins, 69-11 on 1. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, like I fought unbelievably good talent, and I fought better and better opposition as I've gone through, and I've done better and better as I've gone through. So that means I'm ready for a big step up, and I'm not going in there to be cold. I'm not going to go in there and feel the power of these boys and be like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong thing. Well, you see people happen and they start moving down weights, moving up weights. I'm not about that. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to cement my feet and I'm going to show everyone that I am a threat.
Do you envision yourself being the UFC champ, or have you not thought that far ahead yet? Are you focusing each fight as it comes?
Every second of the day, I envision myself as lightweight champion. Every second of the day, every time since I started, I've envisioned myself as lightweight champion every second. So I am the lightweight champion. I'm just not the lightweight champion at the moment. That's all that matters. Like one day, I'm going to be stood at the top, looking down on everyone, and there's going to be a pile of bodies underneath me. That's the way it's going to be. And I'm just going to, like I said, I cemented my legacy in Cage Warriors. I'm going to do the same for UFC. That's the way it has to be. So whoever's in my way, they're just going to fall.
What do you think was the instrumental factor in you signing to the UFC? Do you think it was that champ status at the end of the fight?
Oh, definitely. Like, look at the year. UFC wasn't signing people. Like, I understand people would be like, yes, they took loads of British talent. They took loads of European talent. They was taking Americans in. But it was weird that unless they needed you for a short-term fight, they wouldn't sign in. Like, I didn't get signed as a short-term step in. I got signed as a UFC fighter. That was the way I got signed. They signed me because they wanted me in their roster. So it's hard. Like, with all the visas and all the COVID and like the sort of fighting in the States, everything's difficult at the moment. Now the Abu Dhabi cards are gone. It's really hard. So I really got in as an opportune time, and everything's always come together for me. Like, whenever I need something, it falls in place for me, because my fate is what I make it, and I am telling the world that I'm going to be a lightweight champion, and I'm just going to have to prove that I'm going to be a lightweight champion, because it's one step at a time.
What would you say got you into MMA in the first place, and how old was you when you started?
So I started training at 7 years of age at a small kickboxing gym. That kickboxing gym did a thing which was sort of like freestyle jiu-jitsu, which was just early MMA. Do you know what I mean? Like Jack Marshman, Richard Shaw, Joseph Duffy, they all started the same gym as me. That was the way it was. We all started from the same place, and we all started doing MMA in the same sort of setup. So I always knew I wanted to go into MMA. At the time, my dad was showing me UFC thing, and I knew that was what I wanted to do. I think I knew probably when I was about 12 that I was really going to give it a good go. And then everything just sort of, I made everything work the way I wanted to do. So I did what I needed to do, whether I was giving up my weekends and competing. Like, I've been competing at high level elite competitions since I was 10. I've been going away and competing in European tournaments since I was 12. I've fought every single nationality probably on the planet, I think. To be honest, I haven't fought many South Americans or a lot of the Asian countries, so probably about half the planet. I fought in Brazil. I fought in nearly every country in Europe. I fought in the States. I've trained everywhere. I understand the way that a lot of people don't. Like, I fought a lot of the Azerbaijanis. I fought Azerbaijan, all the Polish states, all everywhere. Do you mean the Kazis, the Europeans, everyone I've sort of tested myself against, and I know to beat people. That's why I do well.
Well, when you get to the top of the UFC, out of all the top contenders now, if they're still up there, when you get there, who do you think you'd give the best fight to?
Oh, no, who would I give the best fight to? Who would I put on the best show with? There's a lot of fighters in the UFC. This is the thing. It's not even in the UFC. Look at the lightweight division. You've got Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker. Obviously, Paul Felder just fought on the weekend, but I think he's close to retirement. But again, I'd love to test up with him. Dos Anjos. It is a shark pool. Barbosa. I think he's moved down. Kevin Lee. I don't know whether he's moved up. There's just such a depth of talent in there, and you have people getting signed all the time. You have all the sort of Soviet states coming through. You have all the Americans who just come out the woodwork from anywhere. You have like there's Olympic champions in the way. There's all sorts. So yeah, just throw me in there, and we'll see who the biggest fish is in a few after a few years.
Well, just a couple more questions because I know you're quite busy. What piece of advice would you give to someone starting out in MMA?
So if you're starting out in MMA now, to be fair, it depends on your age as well. If you're starting you're in your early teens, you're in your early teens, then get as much experience as you can. Find a good coaching team, and really take time to sort of earn what you're doing. If you're in your later teams, find a good team around you, a good team that understand what you're looking for, and you just got to fight. You need to fight as fast and as often as possible. So if you just starting, you're 17, 18 years of age, you need to be competing every weekend. Easy as that. And you need to be fighting high level talent. So you need to be going to America and these trade gyms or these big gyms in the UK, and you need to be getting people who are really going to push you. To be fair, if you're starting off and you're at 18 now, it's pretty easy to find good gyms. Like even in Wales, there's really good gyms. My own. Jack Shaw's, they got a crazy good gym over there. Like there's good gyms springing up everywhere with people who are really switched on. If you're in your early 20s, late 20s, then you're behind the curve. You need to understand that, first of all. You need to understand that you are behind by a large Harjin. Like I've been competing, training and competing for 18 years. You're behind. So you need to go in there and you need to throw yourself into it like a madman, and you need to really, really pick it up, because to be fair, like 25 is a good time to get signed. It's perfect for me. So if you're getting signed later than that, you're in a tough place. And if you want to get signed by 25, do you know what I mean? It's not easy to get signed. So you really need to pick your feet up, and you need to drive.
Well, last but not least, why are you the man to conquer the UFC lightweight division?
I'm the man to conquer the UFC lightweight division, because I am who I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm tenacious. I'm tough. I'm determined to the point of obsession. And I understand what it needs to be done. It's the way it is. Like I've been dieting since March. To be fair, I think this is going to be one of the first times, or probably like the third time tonight, where I eat out off diet. So little cheat meal. My girlfriend just got a new job, so we're having to celebrate your meal. I do apologize, but I'm almost cancel on you again, because I do apologize. I try to get these done, but yeah. So I'm obsessed. Everyone knows, like my girlfriend knows, that this is what matters, and that I will make the decisions I need to make it work. And she understands. Like she's an ex-Olympic team, so she knows what it takes. So we're just gonna put our heads down and just go through people. And I feel bad for those who get in my way, because if I have to destroy someone else's dream to make my own, then I won't blink.
Well, I know you're busy, so I'm going to end it there. So I just wanted to say cheers for joining us. And I was with UFC athlete Mason Jones. Cheers for joining me, man.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Take care.